welcome or welcome back to V.L.G. Unfiltered, the podcast where we keep it real, raw, and authentic for you guys. Here we dive deep into emotional intelligence, self growth, and everything, absolutely everything the Gen Zs are keeping tabs on. So, no judgments, no filters, just authentic conversations between you and I that really matters. So go ahead, grab your headphones, tune in, and let's vibe. Newsflash, you are the director of your life, and if you keep handing over your power, you'll stay as a character. Okay. So today I want us to talk about how when you get yourself in the mental space of wanting to change something, when you finally get into the space where you feel there is a certain aspect of your life that no longer aligns, that no longer satisfies you, you have to be ready to accept, to reanalyze every other aspect of your life: financial, physical, spiritual, mental, and all these things. So, when I talk about um, reanalyzing your life on and how you can change some certain aspect of your life and how that can look. In my book, again, in my book, an example of some of the things that I had to learn that, these are acquired tastes. And this could either be the acquired taste because of the universe, because of people's opinions, societal expectations. Sometimes it's filled with fear, sometimes it's filled with self doubt, sometimes it's filled with people's opinions. Okay. So when you're ready to actually, when you get to the pivot point where you want to just start afresh, just start something that is solely for you, just to start from scratch. Let me call it starting from scratch. And this is what I mean. You finally get to a place where you want something good for yourself. You get to a place, and this is personally where I am. I have been going through it. I have been going through it, and I am just learning how to analyze myself, how to give grace to myself. So I finally got to a place where I feel everything I had to offer, I have already offered. And everything that is being poured into my cup, everything that I believe is new, that is fresh, that is vibrant, that is just, rejuvenated, that is beautiful. It's so beautiful how when you start learning exactly how to articulate yourself, when you start learning specifically what words to use, the prefix and the suffix, when when you start learning that this is much compatible over here than this. I'm going to use an example. When somebody tells you, do you mind if I take your phone? There are people who will be like, no, I do not mind. When you say no, you do not mind, that means that you do not have a problem with them going through your phone. But when you say yes, I do mind, that means that yes, you actually do mind them, going through your phone without your permission. Again, language is all about how you express it and the intention of it. Words are just words. When you hear people saying that your words really hurt me, is that you could have been talking, you could be talking totally in a different point of view, but your words are not expressing that. Okay, people listen to what you say. Okay, they do not feel what you feel. They cannot feel your intention, but they can feel your intention through the type of word selection that you take. Another thing that through finances, when it comes to when you pivot yourself financially, an example, when you pivot yourself financially and you probably have debt, you start checking on opportunities. You start being excited about the opportunities that are around you. You start getting you start your value, the understanding of the things that you would prefer to get, the things that you would prefer to buy for yourself, the things that you would prefer to, schedule to get for yourself automatically changes. When I talk about value, I talk about there is no point of me saying I'm going to buy myself 10 skincare sets because I've got the money right now. Of course, when we talk about pivoting yourself financially, you get to ask yourself the questions that actually matters. Okay, you get to ask yourself questions that build because you are being delicate, you're being respectful, you creating yourself to be worthy to receive all these things that you're trusting the universe or your higher power to provide for you. And there is nothing wrong with doing that, okay? When it comes to your mental health, when you pivot yourself to see and reconstruct exactly what really works for what doesn't work for you, or when you pivot yourself to understand the areas of your life that you have probably they were habits, but they were routines, but now they have turned into habits, okay? And when something is a habit, it's permanent, and we have to agree to disagree. There are some routines that we started that benefited us for that particular time during that particular season. An example, it probably required you to wake up at around 5, but now it's during your holidays and you just want to wake up as late as you can, okay? So this, even though this habit helps at a particular time, but at this particular time it's not of any benefit to you. So some of the things that you should expect changes on when you pivot yourself mentally, you guaranteed that your energy is going to change, your sleeping time, your waking up time, these are things that you can use as skills, as keys, not really keys, but as maps to understand if you're truly working towards your growth, or you're working towards your progress, or you're just, yeah, if all we're doing is declining, baby, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Another thing is perspective. Your perspective is going to change, and this is anxiety versus, radical acceptance. When you pivot yourself mentally, you pivot yourself in every way and aspect, okay? And we have a variety of things that affect us mentally. But when I can pick anxiety versus radical acceptance, when you pivot yourself mentally, you start thinking more radically than just going with the flow of the thoughts, okay? I mean, the mind is a very, very tricky place to be. Just think about it. This organ of the body named itself. It named itself. Like, if that is not mind blowing to you, you need to chillax because life is never that serious, okay? The second thing I really want to talk about is how small changes amount to large, permanent, graspy habits. And this is what I mean. When you make the intention to take the action of change, bit by bit, these are going to feel the haba na haba hujaza kibaba. Bit by bit is going to, it's going to get you to that final product. It's going to get you to that final, furnished, permanent, outcome that you were expecting. So, what are some of these things that we can change or that we can work on to give ourselves more grace, give ourselves more time, pour into our cup, and at the same time build ourselves in a productive manner, build ourselves as a brand? So some of the things that I personally feel we can change, again, when we come to finances, you can set some certain rules. So an example of some of the things that I am learning currently to actualize and practicalize, just put them into practice, is the 7 minute rule, the 7 second rule. And this just basically means that before you buy something, before you make a purchase on something, take 7 seconds to ask yourself, do you really need this thing? Do you really have use for this thing? And if you really have the use of this thing, how, like, what is the durability of the use for these things, okay? The second thing that you can do, you can use the 5 minute money date. By the 5 minute money date is that at least out of your day, out of your 24 hours, you can take at least 5 minutes to go through your bank statements, to go through your transaction statements, to go through the things that is expected for you to buy. I mean, you can just call this like the financial diet thing. It makes if it makes it any cooler, or if it makes it any interesting for you to give it a name, then you can go ahead and you call it, the financial diet, and just learn to make things fun. Learn. I am a very creative person. Like, the right side of the brain is the one that is um responsible for creativity. So the right side of my brain is super super active. And that is just like a myth. Both sides of your brain equally equally important when it comes to creativity. It's just that we keep on reading that the right side of the brain is, you know, the right side of the brain is responsible for creativity, but that is not it. That is not it. A lot comes to play. The left side of the brain, the right side of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, like all these things. As I was saying before, as I was saying that half lie, my right side of the brain is like the most active, okay? And I am a very creative person. Like I am monkey see, monkey do, and I would want to do, and I will eventually go ahead and do it. But it just makes it easier for me to create roadmaps in my head. And by roadmaps, I mean I would color something in a certain type of way. I would label something in a certain way, just for the fun of it, to create roadmaps in my mind so that I'm able to remember these things. I have, when you hear me saying Miss Vibrant, I am vibrant in and out. Like, oh, I do not skip the chance of adding some pop of color to what I really want. Okay, so some of the things that you can do physically to amount into a big permanent habit is that you can try the 2 minute rule. I mean, by the 2 minute rule, I mean if you cannot work out, if you're not able to get your body up and running, then at least stretch for 2 minutes. Okay, then at least stretch your body for 2 minutes. The second thing is that you can it is sleep versus score. So the second thing is sleep versus screen, and this is charge your phone in another room. When you charge your phone in another room, you make it difficult for you to use your phone in bed or past bedtime. Okay. The third, not really the third thing, but some of the things that you can do to reclaim um some long term, not really to reclaim, but to attain some long term habits socially, is that you can learn to text fast, by the way. Always text fast. If you're getting somebody else's number for the first time, at least in my case, and I've had this from a lot of people, always text fast. Text fast, indicating your name, indicating how you got my number, and just underneath that, indicate your purpose for texting. Because, yo, we can't keep hiding every now and then. That is not how life should be, okay? Another thing is that you can learn or teach yourself, reintegrate yourself into saying yes to small invitations. Um, for picnics, for coffee dates, for this to small meetings, convergence that just amount to something else. Delete and replace. Learn to delete and replace whatever. And I mean this in every way and aspect. But as we talk about socially, this is what I mean. Learn how to instead delete delete your 10 hours of doom scrolling and replace it with 10 minutes of, you know 10 minutes of channeling that 10 minutes into your education, or into 30 minutes of not really 30 minutes, but 10 minutes of going into your passions, or you can just replace it with something positive. So the last thing that I really wanted us to talk about is the fact that we often hand out our powers knowingly or unknowingly to others, okay? And this could be by just taking family people's opinions, taking family societal expectations, giving into your fears, giving into your worries, giving into your self-doubt. We are the ones who are giving away our powers, and these are some of the ways that you can reclaim your power, okay? So first things first, people pleasing. People pleasing. The Don't get me wrong, there is being respectful and then there is people pleasing. Being respectful is that when I come to your place, I cannot just barge in. I will wait for a yes, you may come in. That is being respectful. But the door has been opened for me. I have been told welcome, but I'm still waiting for somebody to say, yes, you can come in. Or people have already prayed for food, but you're still waiting for somebody to tell you, yeah, you can start eating. That is people pleasing. So, how can you reclaim your power from people pleasing? You can start by saying no, okay? Practicing saying no without explanation. When somebody says, can you do this? No. Unless they ask you why, then you cannot explain yourself, but you can give your valid reason as to why you do not want to do this. I'll give out an example. Do you want to go out clubbing tonight? No. Why don't you want to go clubbing tonight? Doesn't sit right with me. I do not want to. It's cold. These are not explanations. Others will say these are excuses, but this is me informing you as to my reason. However petty, however large it is. I'm not going out because I do not have a cloth to wear. You're looking glam. Why am I leaving the house? Exactly. This is me giving you a reason as to why I'm not doing that. I'm not explaining myself. I'm not over explaining myself. I am just, I am, what is it? I am expressing myself. Okay. The second thing that you can do is that you can start a check-in program for yourself. And by a check-in program, I mean for everything that you do, for every decision that you take, for every conversation that you allow yourself indulge in, ask yourself, am I doing this for me or am I doing this for their approval? Okay, that is another thing. And trust me, baby, you are not struggling with this. Proving a point, that is something that can hold you back, like back. Tell me about it. Like, we need to have time and just talk about this. I have been proving a point, but that is the thing. I started proving a point. At least I want to believe it is. I know it was, and then it was. I started proving a point, and along the way, I even forgot who I was trying to prove this point to. I even forgot what the point was in the first place at all. But I was still indulging in this, proving point behaviors. There was just this one particular habit that I was really holding on to. It started as a fun thing to do with a couple of friends, and it ended up being something that I do to myself that I am very ashamed of. And please, again, please, like, can we all? Okay, I'm not even gonna say it because then I might be the one who is planting ideas to your mind. But yeah, it turned into something that I don't find, I don't take pleasure in indulging in anymore. I don't take pride in it anymore. Like, it doesn't make sense. It got to a point where it just didn't make sense anymore. Okay. The second thing, that the second power that we give away to people is comparison. We allow people to really compare us to people, and we take that mindset. Okay, the mindset of they're doing it better than I am. Baby, you are giving your power away. So what are some of the ways that you can use, or some of the ways that you can reclaim back this power? You can start by deleting your triggers, okay? You can start by muting, by unfollowing, those accounts that keep on making you feel like you are less than what you are. The second thing is that you can learn to tell yourself that my path and theirs, okay? My path and their path. Mantras is just when you keep on reminding yourself, if you've heard a musician do this, brr, 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 bah, 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 those are mantras. Those are just like chants that you remind yourself something. So you can start chanting to yourself and reminding yourself that my path and their path, my path, their path, my path, theirs, my path, theirs. Just to remind yourself that every day, with every moment, with every decision that you make, are solely for you, to benefit you, or even to affect you, but not for somebody else. Okay. Um Another power that we need to reclaim is the over explaining power, and I think I have talked about that. And the self abandonment power. self abandonment power. This is why you keep on saying, I'll fix it later. I'll fix it later. I'll do it later. Procrastinating when it comes to yourself. Okay. So, what are some of the ways that we can reclaim this power? By having a daily self checklist. Okay. When you have a daily self checklist, is that you get to ask yourself daily, what do I need to do right now? Okay. This makes you to hold yourself accountable during that moment. If you go into your checklist and you realize that this is what you're supposed to be doing, it doesn't matter if you are scrolling on TikTok, if you are doing whatever it is that you're doing at that time, you need to drop it and you need to do what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. The second thing that you need to do is that you need to give yourself grace. I'll continue saying this. Always give yourself grace. Any day, any time, any minute, any whatever. Give yourself grace, okay? Because you deserve that. And that is just it. You deserve that. And you deserve all these beautiful things that are coming your way. And do not allow people to take away the color, to take away the vibrancy of yourself just because you feel you do not fit in and all that. I need you guys to understand. My lowest point is not your lowest point. Take this game for instance. You have had people say, what is your lowest? Like, what is your broke amount? Kuna mtu mwenye atasema fuliza ni broke amount yake. Kuna mtu mwenye atasema 100k ni broke amount yake. So exactly, like, use that as a reference point. Do not let what somebody else did and did not work for them, or do not let what somebody else did and it worked for them so greatly that you are now infuriated with their success. Do not let that happen. I am learning like a lot of space in this world. Literally, there is enough space for everyone in this world to be successful. Call it whatever. It is societal expectations, it is societal standards to limit your thinking to think that everybody cannot be rich at in what is it called? Influx. Is it inflection or whatever it is? Yeah, inflection. Then there will be inflection or something of money. No, then, if we cannot all be rich, then let me be among the rich. If you do not start speaking and pouring your expectations into your life, if all you are doing is declaring the other thing that you do not have, the other thing that you want, that you believe you might not be able to get, it doesn't work that way. Okay? So I need you to actually calm down. I need you to calm down. I need you to breathe in. And I need you to start living life one day at a time because that is all that you have. You don't have 3 years right now. You have today. I need you to breathe in. I need you to calm down and breathe in for today and wait for tomorrow. You cannot breathe tomorrow's breath today. You cannot eat tomorrow's food today. You only eat today's food today. You only breathe today's breath today. You will not ever have today again. I mean that. You will never have 21st of May ever again. And until that sinks in, you'll always feel like it is you just running. It is just another success that you're achieving. It is just another opportunity that you have received. It is just another, it is just another blessing. It will always just and just and just, and just is not enough. Even though the word itself, when somebody says it is just, it doesn't even give the illusion, it gives the expressions of insufficiency. It gives the um it gives the illusion, not really illusion, but it gives the understanding of inconsistency. So until we are ready to let go of the just and start declaring our expectations that everything that we have is enough and will stay and will sustain us, we need to let go of scarcity mindset. We are lacking everything that we have. We have more than enough right now, and we are letting that seep through our fingers because we are adjusting. We adjust. When you just say that this is what I have just for now, you are justifying even the misuse of what you have been given. But anywho, guys, I don't wanna be that lady unless you want me to. Anywho, I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. I 10 out of 10 did enjoy watching this episode and making this episode as well. So if this wasn't for you, again, it might be for somebody close to you. So kindly like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.